Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions. This is episode 78. We're almost ready to start the Giro, but there's a couple things first that have to happen. One, I just got done with. Whew, I'm grateful to be done with it because it takes a really freaking long time. It takes me at least 2 hours. It's a very boring task, but going through all the free agents, one by one by one, across all of Africa, one by one by one. Okay, 6K, we're going to turn things up. Gel up for a Shimway. I only have three riders left to lead out De Villiers. This is not our A team, but it's the Frankfurt Classic. And as we go inside 5.5K, I think it's time to get a Shimway on the move. Get the order fixed. There we go. Our three domestiques were all used up between all the climbs and the pace of world-class riders. But as we get down to our last few guys here, we're not even out front. So at this point, I have no expectations of actually beating the best sprinters. But with 3.5K to go, we're going to push and try to get a Shimway, Mullebron, and De Villiers at least a decent amount of points for us. 2.5K to go now. They get 2K. A Shimway can start his sprint, setting up Mullebron. This is a little early, but at the same time, it's almost a better way to set up getting the head start as opposed to coming in a little bit late. So as we get down to De Villiers, he's going to run out of red bar. He's definitely not going to win, but we got him into a decent position. There's just too much talent, too much quality around. But that is going to be a top 10, and Mullebron is right there behind him. Leo Morel takes the win ahead of Milan and Stewart and some normal guys there. Delay only 6th. De Villiers gets exactly 10th. Mullebron gets 11th. Mohira was 14th. Shimway was 20th. So we got all four of them inside the top 20, the highest being placed 10th. It's not a tremendous amount of points, but considering we didn't bring a sprint team to this race, just a single sprinter. Three of the guys we had here were recent recoveries from injury who have very low fitness, and so they were carrying some big negatives. Arab, the biggest of those. Yeah, not too bad. The bad news regarding my 2-hour search to go through the African riders didn't net much. The problem at this point is I've been through it every year. Every single year I know the riders that are out there, and the ones that have the potential, we've already picked them up. It's the 18-year-olds coming through that there's a chance at, because scouting-wise, we can only cover so much. In fact, we really probably don't, maybe cover 10% of what's out there. So as a result, with just 10% coverage, what we're really looking at is those 18-year-olds that slip under the radar, the vast majority of them. And so checking that every year. But I still go in and check them all. I wish there was a better system. I wish I could have like a hide list where you can check hide this rider, hide this rider, hide this rider, to where they just don't show up anymore, because there's a lot that I would do that with, and then I would have a much smaller pool that I'm looking at, and it would take a lot less than 2 hours at that point if I were able to do that. For example, I could hide Pogacar. Why? Because we can't sign him because of the stipulations of the playthrough. I could hide Vingegaard. It would make it a lot easier to then literally just look at everyone, all the new riders from the year before, and hide all the ones that aren't from the African nations, so that's permanent and we don't have to bother with them. And then I'm just looking at my pool of African riders that are on the have some potential side, and then the 18-year-olds that have been added to the list every year. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, I'm dreaming of things I want to see in the game. In the game right now, in the playthrough, I've gone for our 3 best riders with expiring contracts for the first round of dossiers, because 27 of our 30 points were used up just in those 3 guys. And those 3 guys, because they have some potential, they know that they can make it onto a World Tour team. So they have very little interest in signing up with us. That's not a huge problem. It's early enough that we should be able to get them up. Obviously, we'll get them to yellow, but can we get them to 100%, get that discount? Arab, for example, could be pretty expensive if we don't get him to that 100% threshold and have to spend quite a bit more for him. But in that search, I only netted 5 names, 2 of which have been on lists in prior seasons. So I only had 3 new faces to add, plus the one that I showed you 1 or 2 episodes ago that's been in the scouting. So 6 riders in all, 6 potential riders to side. But of my expiring contracts, most of them I want to retain because they're still the best options. There's only a couple that I'm ready to part ways with, which means I have 2 vacancies to fill. Depending on where we're at with finances, we'd be looking to sign 3 to 4 of those 6. As we begin the Giro d'Italia, our first ever Grand Tour as a team, we could begin under better circumstances. Our first rider out the box, Johannes Dalek, starts with a -4. How that's even possible when the entire team has an objective for this race, I guess that's only a +1. The fitness peak's not there yet. Huh. Well, Johannes Dalek drew a -5 for the day, apparently. He's just starting out. He was one of the first riders out the box, so we really don't have much in terms of time frame here, but he is making his final push. Looks like an 87 can get you most of the way there. It's almost all prologue for today, and he's got a -6 to that, so not what we were hoping for. Samuels gets a +2. Definitely a better draw than what Johannes Dalek had, but he's not much of a prologuer. But this should help him with his time, make his time loss a bit minimal. Now, we're not at this Giro for the GC. I don't think we're in that kind of shape. I don't think we are that kind of team yet to do much more than maybe squeeze one guy into 10th place. I think the best hope that we have as a team, 21st minute, 19 down for Samuels, best hope we have for a team is to claim stage victories and get national boosts to popularity. That's our target. That's our aim. We're going to try to win as many stages as we can, and maybe, just maybe, go for a King of the Mountains. Shimway with a -1 today, but it's not impacting his attributes in any meaningful way. Might put in an okay time with a 74 prologue. 28th, 53 seconds down, the only rider within a minute at this point of Sobrero, current leader. 2 realizations I've just had about just how tough this is going to end up being is that, one, Sammy Arab draws a -5 for the day and still only has like a 49-50% fitness level. That gave him a -13 to his prologue rating. A -13. That's terrible. Not only do I have 3 riders at this Giro that have just recovered from injuries and have done very little racing this year, and other than Molebron being close, all 3 of them, Klotz the third, along with Arab, all 3 of them are still rebuilding fitness levels. So none of them are looking great, but they have low fatigue. But not only am I having that issue, and I'm really glad we're not going for GC, because I really probably have made one of the biggest mistakes that I have made in this game. Our calendar was built around our sponsor objectives, and we've maximized those and we've cruised to our 100%. I had every intention of not going in and filling out the World Tour calendar down the road, but going in and at least getting the 2 Grand Tours and making objectives out of those for the riders that were going to be there, because they're major races and it's 3 weeks and you need all the help you can get. I didn't do that. I didn't do that for the Giro, and it's too late. It is too late to go back and change that and add that objective in. Nothing I could do about it now. So, A, they're not building for a fitness peak. B, they don't have a bonus for the objective. I need to get my butt over and take care of that for the Tour de France so it's ready to go. And what we'll be looking for is a night and day difference in performance. I think we're going to be lucky to get any stage wins now in this race, and I'll really kind of pick and choose some of the stages, which I was going to do anyway, but I think I'm going to be even more selective than I would have been due to my own blunder. That's a costly one. Do you remember the old movie Robin Hood Men in Tights, the semi-musical comedy farce of the old Robin Hood story with Cary Elwes? Well, anyway, There's a scene in that movie where somebody says, "I challenge you to a duel," and they take off their leather glove and they slap Cary Elwes across the face. He takes off his metal gauntlet, slaps the other guy across the face, saying, "I accept." This is one of those moments. I've been slapped in the face with a metal gauntlet, like big time here. Not only, insult to injury of the we aren't set for a fitness peak here, and I knowingly put in a few guys going, they'll be fine as the race goes on, they'll get better, it'll be okay, they'll pick up fitness quickly because they'll be racing. The more I thought about it, the less I think that's going to actually happen. I think their fitness is still going to be quite low. It'll be in the 60s or 70s by the end of the race, but it'll be nowhere near where it needs to be, at least not for the two guys. Mullebron will be okay, but Arab and Clote, they're going to be terrible all race long. Probably. Most likely. But the insult to injury, the slap in the face, is the not so simple fact that they've really screwed us over on race day condition today. To begin with, we're not going to have big bonuses, right? And that's what it really takes for a team like ours to be able to compete with these kind of guys. So I'm really glad that there's no ambition for GC, because that is a total pipe dream. It ain't happening at all. But anyway, as we approach Final 54K and the difficult bits on this stage, this was a stage that I was looking at profile-wise going, hey, this could be, it's already stage 4. I've already bypassed stages 2 and 3. There's already a split in the field here, by the way, and double insult to injury here. -11 net draw, -13 overall. The expected is a -2. Because 2 guys are ill on top of this. We got 3 guys without fitness. Now we got 2 guys that are ill. It's a really rough start to this race. Really, really rough start to this race at our first ever Grand Tour. I said it was twofold. That's one fold. The second fold, as a group breaks off, takes off, but they'll be chased down. The second part of that insult is how our 3 best guys, the 3 guys that would have a chance at doing something today, lots of splits while not splitting. It'll come back together. It's going to be okay here. Arab, -3. Samuels, -4. And a Shimway. The only 3 guys with a mountain rating here, proper mountain ratings, -5. The average for those 3 riders, for our 3 leaders, is a -4. Combined, -12. That's... This glass isn't half full on this stage. It's not half full. Holy crap. Alright, this is not good. It's not good. The 4th guy we were protecting was Benuna, and he's still weaker. Left alone is now Samuels, so we will do that. And Shimway is looking the best at the moment. Okay, penultimate climb, up the effort. Clote back in contact, 115 riders here. Position mattering that much more though. Breakaway, 4 riders still have a 2-minute advantage. That's awfully healthy with just 20k to go, but it's 2 climbs, so you expect it's going to come down pretty dang quick. We have no hope with a breakaway of doing anything. Those guys have no stamina, so we really just kind of have to hang on and then try to be aggressive at the tail end of the climb. Field has split up quite a bit, but the guys that we are looking at are all off the back, and we're working as the domestiques. 30 riders chasing 10, and the 10 are just ahead of them. There's only a few bike lengths, and it's already back together. So Shimway, Arab just hanging on. Let's now look. Arab clearly weak right now. Shimway looking strong. Benuna's looking strong. Are we going to protect Benuna? I don't care about GC, so it's really stage by stage who's the strongest. I don't know how it's not Samuels. It's only a 74. That's a 75. Okay, Bermuda, leader. Final 38 riders. Chasing 5, one more rider off the front with a small gap is Guy. There's some Guy off the front. Down to 36 chasing, 12 are dropped. Arab. Gel. Samuels, we will go Gel here in a moment. Now. 9K to go. A medium mountain rating is now going to become more important. Bermuda doesn't have it. That's his weakness. So we want him to push a little bit harder. Arab the weak linker at the moment. Back together. Now 31 riders left in contention for this stage. Eventually we'll think about KOM and whether it's a possibility. Right now, not worried about it. Okay, Arab fading. A Shimway. Needs to get up on the wheel. Needs to gel. Oh boy. This is an attack by like 20 riders out of the 42. Samuels is at the front, so we're going to send him first. Shimway. Second in line. Baduna third in line. Arab about to get left behind. Samuels hangs on to what is the peloton for a moment. It was down to 17. It was 16 riders attacking a Shimway, now going deep to try to catch back up to Samuels. Oh, I think it gets blocked off twice by this rider. Hindley 3 times blocked us off and then goes on the attack as 5 riders go clear. Samuels is done. The Shimway has caught him and now needs to go past 3K to go. But it's 1.2 to the top. Gel for Benuna, a Shimway push on. Benuna has to be able to sprint. That's 16 riders. This isn't far away. We're not far out of contention, but we're out of contention. Sprinting for a Shimway. Setting up Benuna, who's coming too late to the party. We had 2 guys in our tail. Milan Paulus takes the win ahead of Evenepoel, McNulty, Gall, Sivikov. And we're going to get just inside the top 20. 16th, 17th is all today. But with how atrocious our race day condition was, especially for the 3 guys, any one of them with a 0 race day condition and you're good. Well, not Arab. He's got that 50% fitness level right now. So he's got a long ways to go. But 2 of them, anyway. Samuels or a Shimway. All they need is a 0. Samuels had a -1 expected because he was ill. Shimway didn't. He was expected to have a 0. He got a -5. Samuels drew a -3. Arab drew a -3. The 50% fitness thing is a separate factor. Should not come down to a -3. Rough draw. Karma should be on our side now because we just got the short end of the stick. Next time. 2 days later, stage 6. Not much has changed. It's not depressing this time, but it's not something to make you feel good either. -4 net draw, -6 overall. The 2 guys that were sick are no longer sick. They got over it, but now Arab's sick, so he's the latest. Mollebron, -5 draw. Klotz 60 plus now on his fitness level, so he's climbing. Arab, who was in the 40s on the previous race, is now in the 50s, so he's climbing. For Mollebron, he's up to an 89, so he's about to crack 90. He was fine to bring to this race. One hard climb, and then we get a bit of a saddle here when we're on the saddle portion, but a nice long descent to recover if Mollebron make it to the top without getting dropped, which riders have been dropped. There's a good 25 off the back. Clote fading, but there is the top. He is off the back, but there's a good chance that this group will regain contact. Molebron recovering. We do need water one final time, so I'm going to send him for it, but let me get him back on protecting our leader. And, oh, right, there's our fourth. Oh, no, Johannes Dalek is the extra guy. He's a ways back. I don't know if he's going to regain contact or not, but he might. Peloton's definitely growing over this descent. Setting us up for one final climb on this one. With our odds definitely better today. Sammy Arab has a +1, but because of the 51% fitness, he is taking -2. So he's still carrying negatives, but it's not extreme. He's got a 77 medium mountain today. 71 stamina. He's not terrible. Samuels does have a -2, but again, it's just -1s to his climbs and -3 to his stamina. And a Shibway! We finally got a 0. We'll see if that gives us a chance to be competitive today. In later stages, tail end of a Grand Tour, breakaways win lots of stages. We're going to be in a lot of breakaways on the tail end of this race. Like all of them. It's early days yet. Until you've really reached about the halfway point, breakaway does not claim victories. So that's why we're trying to do it from within the pack. There's a lot more sprints or short little punchy ones or profiles that don't suit us, and that's why we're already on stage number 6. Clote has not gained contact. We're at 81 riders. It's actually shrinking. We've gotten the water taken care of, and a 75 will definitely not cut it for the climb to come. I think we could start on an 85. These are definitely climbers, and then we'll see what the pace is like once we get going uphill. But we've got 14K to go until we begin the climb. Breakaway still has some riders off the front, but no, 8 minutes. Who's 8 minutes ahead? What the heck? Stage 6 and we're gonna get a breakaway victory already? It's feeling like we might. Gap is coming down, but 7.5 minutes, that's a huge head start. 5 riders left at the front too. But immediately, right at the base of the climb, 2 riders are split off. That's good. It means there's only 3 left at the front. That's firepower. But that means our tempo is going to have to be really high if we're going to catch these guys. We've gained a minute on what was essentially a descent, or at least somewhat downhill flat section. And they split off further. Single rider off the front now. And the gap's shrinking. Molebron and his -5 looking very weak. He's not going to last very long, so we will use his gel, and then we'll keep an eye on De Villiers and Bonota. Already down to 71 riders. A couple guys on the attack. 11K to go. Still 7 minutes to the front, so let's get the gel for Bonota and De Villiers. 8K on a better day, I'd be going for it already. 7K though. We're here to go for it, right? GC doesn't matter. Go big or go home is the strategy. So I suppose we're going to go for it. De Villiers is going to go first. Bonota, 99. What's that kind of pace like? Is that going to go forward? It is going forward. And we got everybody in line. Bonota doesn't have great pace, but he's getting us down to about 5.5K. Yeah, he just blocked off Arab. De Villiers nice and fast with his 95 pace, but Arab couldn't get through. Bonota was all over the whole "we're gonna block you" thing. On to Samuels. Breakaway gets the win. Sepulveda hangs on. Wow. 2K to go. Samuels is done. A Shimway, 1.4K. 700 meters, and we run out of energy. Again, I wasn't thinking too much about whether we have it or not for the end, because I don't care if we lose time. It's the setting it up, trying to go for it. But the breakaway gets the victory on just stage 6. That was so unexpected. So unexpected, and is contrary to what my plan is. Where I expected that later on, and we're going to be in those breakaways, but so be it. Rough start to the Giro. I have gone in and prepared for the Tour de France, Lombardia, and a couple other races along the way that we have a chance to score some points with. Put some objectives for riders for those. I may not finish this race with all 8 riders. I might withdraw a couple of these guys, like Arab. It'll depend on their fatigue levels, I think, more than anything, because Arab, this is going to help him build strength. So Samuel is going to actually be one. If his fatigue's high, pull him out, give him rest. Let him prepare for the Tour, because it is a back-to-back. And I've clearly made a meal of the Giro, and the Giro is making a meal of me. These race day conditions are atrocious. We were much more in that race, but then the opposite of what would be expected was the outcome. So I have not planned well thus far. Tomorrow's another day. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.